guys about having spirits in your house. Oh no! So a lot of people come to me, they're like, Lauren, I think I have a spirit in my house. What do I do? First of all, don't worry, nothing's gonna happen. You're not gonna be possessed. You're not gonna be taken over. Everything's fine. And I think that what happens here is just a lack of education. So I want to kind of walk you guys through what it means to have a spirit in your house and how you can get rid of it. The first thing with spirits that you should know is that you have absolute ultimate control over what comes into your house and what doesn't. Now, if you aren't sure if you have a spirit, but you feel like you do, I would probably say that you do, because that's your intuition, that's your gut feeling. If you just have this gut feeling, this knowing that something's in your house and you're not quite sure what it is, I always say trust your gut. That's the intuitive skill, that's the psychic ability, and you're probably not wrong. Sometimes you could be paranoid and maybe you are wrong, but trust your gut with this. And if you're really uncomfortable and not sure, you can always reach out to me. I am a medium, so I do speak with spirits. But I feel like this is something that we don't need to freak out over, and we can all fix it without having to call a psychic. So sometimes spirits can come in just randomly because, maybe they were in the area. I don't want to use that word, but sometimes that happens. They're just traveling, they're trying to find somebody, they notice that you're a little more intuitive, so they come hang out. And anytime you do intuitive work, this is why I always say to watch your boundaries, because as soon as you open yourself up, spirits, entities start to notice and they start to come knocking on your door. And if you don't want them, you need to set up those boundaries so that they don't come bother you. So if you do find that you have a spirit in your house, it probably means that your boundaries are a little slack. You probably have been a little too open and inviting, and that's totally okay. I'm going to give you some tips on how to get rid of them. If you don't want to call a psychic and you want to kind of do it yourself. So the first thing you can ask is, did you do anything to maybe cause this spirit to come in? Sometimes they are completely random, but spirits are attracted to similar people. Think about if there's anything that you could be doing to attract this. This can just be negative vibes. Have you had a negative household recently? Have you been grumpy or pissed off? Or, do you have people in your home that bring in a lot of negative energy? And this isn't just like, they don't bring in negative spirits on purpose, but more just like they have bad attitudes, or they're just constantly a trouble to be around. Negative energy is attracted to negative energy. So the first thing I always say is there anything you can be doing to kind of say, hey, don't be around me, this is not what you want, I'm not the same. So first thing you could do to help is maybe examine your attitudes. Examine the people around you. If you are in an apartment, sometimes that does suck because you might not have control over your neighbors, but maybe your neighbors are doing something to attract this. It could be a family member of a neighbor and they could be bothering you. I had that one time too. I had a neighbor spirit. She had passed away in the house next to us, and she was just in the house just because of proximity, and she wanted to communicate with the neighbors, and I was like, no, not doing that, not my business. Make sure you're kind of keeping yourself in check and not unknowingly inviting any spirits into your home. Now, some of the other things you can do is you can set your intention. This is always my number one that I say. You set the intention that no spirits can come in the four corners or four walls of your house. And you can say this out loud, you can say this to yourself, you can write it on a piece of paper and hang it up on your wall. It's more about you believing that intention and feeling that intention. And where people go wrong is sometimes they set the intention, but they're afraid that they can't set that intention. And so if there's any bit of doubt in your intention, spirits use that as like a loophole to get in. So if you're like, no spirits can come in my house, and you're timid about it, then they're like, that was a suggestion, we're gonna come in anyway. So you really got to be firm, and don't be afraid to cuss. Don't be afraid to get loud. If you want, you can wait till your husband or something leaves the house and get loud. Stand in the middle of your house and be like, there's no one that can be in this house. Only, spirits for my highest and best good can be in this house, or no spirits can be here, period. You know, say what you got to say and feel it and believe it. Eventually you'll get to a point where you don't have to like scream, but you'll notice a shift right away. I always recommend doing it over the top, because you'll notice a shift. You'll feel the spirit leave, or you'll feel like maybe they run to another part of your house. And so doing that, setting that intention, you have control over this realm and they do not. So you have ultimate authority. Anything you say goes. So they can't possess you. They can't touch your shit. They can't move doors or open things. Like, that's just something, you know, the more power we give them by being afraid, the more they take advantage of that. So, you know, I've had countless spirits come in here, and if I had that amount of spirits come in and my boundaries were not set, I would have probably like lost my mind by now, because there's so many of them, and you just have to be firm and you have to believe it. And I haven't had spirits in my house in forever because of it. They just know there's a very clear line of when they can communicate with me and where they can be. So another thing that I recommend doing is doing a short meditation. Imagining your whole house just kind of covered in gold, and just have this gold light move all the way around your house. Get the bottom two, get the top, and imagine yourself just like, as you're setting this alarm, as you're setting this golden light intention around your house, imagine yourself just energetically pushing all the spirits out, and then seal this box and say, you know, nothing can come in my house that's a spirit. Only angels can be here, or only my guides, or only entities for my highest and best good can be here. You set that intention. And I love setting this like golden house box thing. I just kind of visualize it whenever I'm feeling like there might be something in the house. I'm just kind of like, I visualize going through each room of my house and just kind of sealing it with golden light and pushing everything out and clearing it out. So that's kind of a meditation that you can do. So I talked about intentions. Crystals are also a great way to kind of get rid of spirits. And I've done a whole video on crystals and how I kind of use them if you're interested. Black tourmaline. Oh, it's very dirty. I put black tourmaline above my bed because, you know, for me it sets the intention that nothing's going to bother me while I'm sleeping. No spirits can bother me while I'm sleeping. So if you really like crystals, there's crystals specifically made for getting rid of negative energy. So, you know, there's that if you want to try crystals. A lot of people also get rid of spirits through objects. So I found that some people like to put jars of Epsom salt with citrus in it, and to them they feel like that kind of sucks all the negative energy in, and it cleanses it and it purifies it, and so they put a couple of these around their house. You know, there's other objects that you can use, like coins, or, you know, deities. If you really resonate with an angel, you can put an angel in every corner of your house. Whatever feels comfortable and safe to you. Another thing you can do is smudge. And so smudging is using sage to clear the air. So basically you can get a loose bundle of sage, you can light it, and the smoke is supposed to clear the energy. The spirits are supposed to not like it, and they're supposed to get out. So here is my loose sage, and I have this in an Australian shell. I can't remember what kind of shell it is, but this is kind of my sage. And so I'll light this and get it going, and then I can walk around the house and smudge the house. Now, not everybody in my house likes the smell. I have some pets that do not like it, and my husband does not like it either. So you can also find spray smudge. So it's kind of like a perfume bottle, and you can just spray that around your house. And that, you know, I almost do that once a month just to kind of clear the energy of the house. Another thing you can do to get rid of spirits is clapping. Noise. Just break up the energy in your home. Spirits are kind of attracted to stagnant energy. They like to sit in it because they're stagnant. They're stuck. Usually if they're a negative spirit, that kind of sometimes means that they're stuck. So you know, if we can break up the energy by clapping or yelling or playing loud music or using singing bowls, you know, any of this stuff, I swear, for some reason, the noise stuff really works for me when I go and I yell, or when I use my singing, or when I use, if I clap or bang pots. It like breaks up the energy so much, and I can like feel it in my body, how different my house feels. Going along with that, you know, sometimes just like opening up your windows, rearranging furniture, opening up the doors, letting fresh air in is enough to kind of just break up the energy, and it's like it brings light in, and spirits don't like it, and so you can get rid of them that way. And then the last thing I would say, this is kind of going along with intentions, but sometimes prayer helps. Pray for help, pray for your guides to get rid of spirits. I almost always ask Archangel Michael to come in and help me and get rid of any spirits that are in the house. Especially if I'm struggling with my boundaries, sometimes I'll be like, Michael, get him out. And I just imagine kind of Michael like swinging a huge bat and like batting the spirit way, way far away. And so prayer can definitely help. But just know that you can definitely get rid of spirits in your house. You don't need a psychic. You just have to, you know a few things that can help, and you really have to believe that you can get rid of them. And when you do get rid of them, don't keep thinking about them, and don't be like, oh, I wonder if they're gone, because you thinking about them kind of invites them in. So, you know, this is just a kind of a test of your boundaries. You know, can you set those boundaries? Can you get rid of those spirits? And if you're still needing help, absolutely feel free to reach out and give me a call. Because sometimes spirits can be a little persistent, and sometimes it does help them if you can help them move on, or at least hear their story so that they can feel like they were heard, and then they can move on. So just know, again, they can't hurt you, they can't touch you. You have absolute ultimate control. So there's no reason why you should be afraid. They're not going to hurt you, they're not going to touch you. They're just a nuisance, and all you got to do is get rid of them, and you'll be fine. Awesome, guys. I hope you liked this video. Share it with somebody if you feel like they could use the information if they have a spirit in their home. I'm really interested in what you guys have to say. Have you tried any of these methods? Do they work for you? Do you have anything else that you use to get rid of spirits? I know there's a laundry list, so there's definitely some more that we could throw in the mix. Awesome, guys. I hope that this has helped, and feel free to reach out to me if it doesn't.